And hello good people of the internet, this is Tommy Kelly and this is another week of the book club, and we're continuing this week with Advanced Magic for Beginners by Alan Chapman, and we're going to have a look at chapters 12, 13 and 14. Now I promised you last week that I would make an announcement on what chapters we were to read this week depending on what sort of reaction last week got, and I did put up a post, but like 22 people see it or seen it or something like that, because whatever way Facebook decides some posts are worth showing to people and some aren't. So if you missed that, don't worry about it. We'll give an extra couple of days, or well, the threads are staying open anyway, so I mean, just do it, get on board and leave your feedback or your ideas when you can. But let's jump straight into this, because I have a lot to do today, and you know, why just, you know, hang around when you can just get into it anyway. So chapter 12 is called one portion of debt, please. And this kind of chapter, or this chapter, is about the difference between, say, chaos magic, which you get to do whatever you want, pick and choose what works for you and all that thing, and the traditional kind of initiatory or initiationary, that word, kind of systems that we had up in there, like Golden Dawn, or well, Golden Dawn and all the other ones, like all the different things, going back even to like the Egyptian thing and all the secret societies and all this kind of thing. And the idea that the argument against cherry picking or against chaos magic in general is that the traditional lineage kind of stuff in the way of teaching will teach you things, or is purported to teach you things that you cannot learn from books. And so without kind of this initiatory, I can't say that anyway, without this type of system, you know, truth cannot be known and you can't learn these things. But with the chaos magic thing, you can kind of just pick and choose whatever you want, and that leads you to kind of believe that if kind of all beliefs are equally, I suppose, have the same value or have equally no value, then it's very easy to go to a kind of a point of view that everything is meaningless and therefore is life meaningless. And so Alan in this chapter is kind of going along to what he says, that magic is the experience itself rather than trying to find the truth behind it. It's the experience in these things, and the experience itself is the truth. And so in a way you can dress it up in whatever aesthetics you want or whatever you want. You can do the traditional route, you can do the chaos magic thing. It's about the experience of these things, not the truth of these things. And that life itself is an initiation, and the whole thing, it's a never-ending initiation. And this is the whole idea of the great work, is that, you know, it's, you know, that you go through all this and you become a better, greater thing by the experience of it, not the truth of it. And I think there's something, you know, there's definitely something in that experience is the key to all this. And that's the kind of, I suppose, the difference between an armchair occultist and a practicing occultist is their experience. Now, everyone in life is experiencing things, but as Alan points out, not everyone is a magician. But so there's an extra element that you've decided that you're a magician and you've put yourself on this path. The end of it is he goes on through kind of taking Zazen and breaking it apart and looking at it as if it's, you know, if it follows his system of what is a magical act. And, you know, that's interesting as well. I did Zazen for a long while, hated it, absolutely hated it. My least favourite form of meditation. And I was huge into Zen, and still am. I love Brad Warner and all that thing, and Alan Watts and all these people. But the reason why I said Brad Warner first is because that's who I was reading an awful lot of the time when I was doing the Zazen. So check out the Zazen if you want. Didn't do it for me, but he also says, you know, as always, make up your own thing, whatever. Okay, now the second chapter we're going to look at this week is chapter 13, and this is called Making Omelets. This chapter seemed a bit kind of all over the place to me, and I didn't really know what it was about until about halfway through it. And I think the gist of it is that he's saying that there's no actual cause of any of these things, especially particularly a magical act, or at least that the cause of things is the least interesting or the least thing you should be focusing on. And like he's saying that he did a group exercise, and saying or group ritual, was the ritual that he did first the cause of the result he got, or was it the ritual after? And it's this thing that you see a lot in magic, is that sometimes you will start getting results from rituals or magic that you haven't done or that you will do in the future, and it starts to happen already. And he talks about this thing in this chapter where that it comes to a point where you will be doing, you have a thought, or something will happen, and that will be the magical act will have happened, and it will come to you. But it's usually like inconsequential things, or things you don't really care about. Like you suddenly have a thought about doing or getting something, and then very, very shortly after, out of nowhere, that happens, and you go, oh, that's, and it has that feeling that I talked about before. How do you know it's not just a normal coincidence or whatever? Why is it a synchronicity and not a coincidence? Because the feeling is different and it's meaningful. So he then breaks it down into kind of that you have 3 type of periods of your synchronicity. The first one is when it becomes your peak experience, which means that is the point where you go, oh, this is the end, the end of goal. Like, so when you start off in Magick and you get synchronicities, it's a peak experience. It's something that goes up and down, up and down. Then that kind of plateaus out and you get kind of an ongoing synchronicity type buzz going on. And then the final one is a permanent adoption of this as a way of life, that this is how the universe works. And he talks about synchronicities being a dualistic kind of feeling of what unity is. It's how dualism can view unity. He kind of goes into this more in other places and all that, and it's take it or leave it kind of thing. This is really Alan, where he goes and brings in his own stuff into it, and it seems to be a lot of his experience and his thing, which is fine, and that's where he's coming from and all that. And he talks about then at the end, at the close of this chapter, which is that, I'm looking at my notes by the way in case you're wondering why I'm pointing or looking down now, that magic is often seen as being, fantasy and going away from what is reality, whereas he would see it as magic is actually the returning of going towards back from truth. So in the synchronicity being the dualistic form of, or how a dualistic experiences unity, the one thing, the non-dual, magic, the experience of magic allows you to move back towards the unity of the non-dual state. So therefore, magic, rather than fantasy, is actually a return to the real. Who knows? It's speculative it's speculative unless you have had some sort of awakening experience, which I haven't had, and maybe it all changes. But currently, that's where I'm at. Okay, the next one chapter is Hoverboards and Silver Lycra, and this is kind of a short chapter, and it's basically about the knowledge and conversation of your holy guardian angel. I'm not going to go into too much in this because you can, spend hours talking about this or whatever. If this is your first kind of meeting of the holy HGA or the holy guardian angel, then you can kind of see it as the main 2 things people see it as is your future perfected self, which is how I see it in, like the master of the 47s, which is your future self. Like, think of all you have learned in the last 10 years and how different of a person, more complete a person you are than you were 10 years ago. And think how you will be in 20 years. Now think of how you will be in 1,000,000 years. And then at the end of time, when you've become, as great and as powerful and as knowing and all that as you can be. So your completed self. And imagine that can have some sort of communication with you now and teach you. So that's kind of what I think the HGA is. Other people think it's something separate from you. It's like an angel, a guardian angel, or some people think it's a mixture. But to contact your HGA in this, in Alan Chapman's thing, is to, you can make it as hard or as complicated as you want. You can do the Abramelin ritual that Crowley never finished, or a dark song is about. Or you can just make up something really simple. And I think one of Alan's one was that just say, it's my will to communicate or to have knowledge and conversation with my holy guardian angel, and then, have it. So, 3 chapters. Interested to hear your thoughts, particularly in the second chapter, chapter 13. I want to hear what people think about the idea that if you don't have to actually do anything, like if a ritual or a rite isn't that necessary for a magical result to happen, in the case of you think of something and then it happens very shortly afterwards, what's the point of ritual? What's the point of doing a rite? And how, again, and this question I ask a lot, how is that different from the law of attraction? What is the difference? The only difference seems to be that in law of attraction you concentrate on it, and in chaos magic and these things you tend to forget it. And is that the difference? Or what is the difference? So interested in your thoughts on the Holy Guardian Angel as well, and on the whole thing about traditional initiatory. People give out, or not give out, people laugh at me because I can't pronounce foreign words or foreign names. I can't even speak English half the time. So your thoughts on traditional systems versus Chaos Magic's kind of cherry picking ideas. And then next week we will do the next 3 chapters. So I will talk to you all then. And sorry this is a bit rushed, but as I said, I have a load of things to get done today. And that's the way it is. So talk to you all soon. Bye.